title. So the topic I'll be discussing is depression and suicide from school-related stress. And so basically my question is, why does school-related stress lead students to commit suicide or become depressed? So the reason why I chose this topic is not because I can relate to this, but except for the stress part, when you're trying to balance getting that GPA or sports. But what interested me was in the beginning of the year for AP Lit, we read an article that discussed a school called Gunn High School in Palo Alto, California, and it's basically one of the wealthiest places to live in California. And Gunn High School is also ranked one of the top 5 STEM schools in the country. So, but they're not only just famous for their academic achievements, they're also well known for having students high amount of students committing suicide each year. So basically, the statistics is in 9 months, 6 Palo Alto teens committed suicide due to stress, and by March of 2015, which isn't even a whole school year, 42 students had been hospitalized because they couldn't handle the pressure and the stress that they were going through, and they were about to commit suicide, or they have committed suicide, but somebody found them before it was too late. And so just imagine, it's basically more than the people here in this room that committed suicide because of the stress that they had to go through. So 2 examples are, they both attended Gunn High School, and this girl, Taylor Chu, she attempted suicide her freshman year because she had AP and honor courses throughout the year, and she also had water polo practice after school, and when water polo practice was over, she had the swim team practice, and she was also in band, so after that, she would have band practice. And so by the time she got home, she was just stressed, and she would stay up late at night studying and just trying to get good grades. So she sacrificed her sleep, and she ended up taking a whole bottle of pills, and she went down to dinner and acted all normal. But then in the end, she realized that she made a mistake, and she told them what happened, and she went to the hospital, and she's still alive today. But the second person, her name's Sarah Longyear. When she attended Gunn High School, she became depressed, and when she became she didn't really get it treated because she felt embarrassed. But and then she ended up going to Wash U in St. Louis, and by her sophomore year, she took a year off because she was too depressed and she couldn't handle the work. Even though she was a basketball captain and merit scholars, everybody thought she was fine. But then when she went back to Palo Alto, she went on the train tracks and committed suicide by the age of 19. And these are just a few examples. There are a whole list on a website listing out people attending Gunn High School, and most of them commit suicide by train tracks. So on average for 15 to 24-year-olds, about 9.6 deaths per 100,000 students commit suicide in 2007, and it increased to 11.1 in 2013. And if you look at this graph right here, it showed that 46% of students actually they're mostly stressed out because of the workload, and that kind of relates to why a lot of students commit suicide or get depressed. And this is a picture of the train tracks where the Palo Alto kids actually commit suicide, and they actually have a sign where it says there's help, you can call a number. So the issue that we face is America's culture of hyperachievement in order to be successful. So that basically means just trying to get good standardized test scores, good grades, being able to do extracurricular activities, and handling sports just to make your college applications look presentable and nice. So you can go to Stanford or those top tiered schools. And nothing is really done about the situation depression or suicide, because unless it's too late, when the Palo Alto, that's when it caught people's attention, that suicide and depression, all the pressure that we feel from schools and parents, that's when people start to realize the issue. And I saw this quote that says, "I'm going insane, but that's okay because my grades are more important than my mental health anyways." And that's the mentality that most students have nowadays because of how society is advancing, and everything is just changing. And so grades are being like more like I don't know how to say it, but like more pressuring. So like people begin to like realize that like mental health is like actually an issue as it's increased. Suicide and depression are increasing each year. So my solution is to have counseling or therapy, and like most people look at like based on this picture, they interpret it this way: like if you're depressed or suicidal, you're looking for attention, or like if you're like if you have insomnia or like you have excessive sleeping, you're called lazy. And like that's the way like we perceive things now, and like that I think that's one thing that we should change. And like counseling and having therapy actually helps, because the Taylor Chu that I mentioned before, she recovered from like becoming depressed and suicidal, she actually had counseling, and she ended up going to Harvard, and like was able to deal with the pressure and like stress because she was able to talk to somebody that with like unbiased opinions. And I also think that another solution is setting up the education system in a different way. And because based on this video that we're going to watch in a few minutes, it's basically about Finland, and the way they approach schools is teaching kids like to be happy. They can actually do like what they want, and like they don't have homework, and they're actually ranked #1 in education. So I think like that's something that we can kind of adopt, because they understand that like having too much stress doesn't really make you learn, and like you need like and if you have happiness, then you'll have that ability to like have that passion in like what you're like.
So here's what happened. Back in the day, Finland's schools sucked on the level that ours suck on. When they tested the world's kids, both Finland and us were usually about the same, somewhere down the list of nations. But Finland didn't like that. So they tried some new ideas, and in no time, Finland shot to the top of the world. Their students were #1. How did they do that? That was the one question I wanted an answer to, and I went straight to see the enemy's Minister of Education. Before I could say anything, she blurted out their top secret.
They do not have homework.
Wait, so you reduced the homework you give them in school?
Yes. They should have more time to be kids, to be youngsters, to enjoy the life.
So they have no homework. What if all they want to do is climb a tree?
They could climb a tree, yeah. They can climb a tree, then they learn how to climb a tree. But they'll end up, while climbing the tree, probably finding out about different insects, and they can come to school next day, tell me about what they found.
Compared to the older kids, how many hours a day do the younger ones go to school?
Mondays, 3 hours. Tuesdays, 4 hours. It varies. It's 20 hours a week.
So they're, oh man. Now does
Students really wanted.
We try to teach them to be happy person, to be respect others and respect yourself.
you're concerned with their happiness?
Oh yeah,
What the hell do you teach?
I teach math.
So the math teacher says that the first thing out of your mouth and what you wanted these students to get out of school was to be happy, have a happy life.
Yeah.